I joined High Flyers in the spring of 1987 when I was a high school student here growing up in Bloomington. Bernadette had moved to Bloomington with her husband. They're molecular biologists and were in the Department of Biology at the time.
I started flying at the Denver Central YMCA in 1970. The first time I flew, I absolutely loved it. I flew with Imperial Flyers for 13 years, and then we moved to Bloomington. And I was devastated at the thought that I would no longer be able to fly in the trapeze. So the year before we moved, I built a high-flying trapeze.
You can't do trapeze by yourself, so she started looking for people to join her so that she would have catchers and flyers, and it takes a minimum of 3 people to have a rehearsal. And I was just one of those high school kids who was sort of invited through other friends to try it, and I tried it once, fell in love with it, and basically never left. We almost always have a couple beginners and say early intermediate level flyers who are flying with us. And then we have quite a number of us who have been doing it for 25 years or more, in my case more than 30 years. Pretty much everybody one way or another has had a direct relationship to the university. As the catcher, you're in the second swing. The catcher's responsibility is to call the timing of the trick and then to obviously catch the person and then return the person back to the flybar after they've swung. The catcher has a unique timing for every trick and for every flyer.
I started when I was 5 at the Sportsplex. It's now the Twin Lake Recreation Center. Bernadette Pace had a setup there and offered summer classes. And it was that period of time in my life where my mom was signing me up for everything, and it was the one thing that stuck. So I started with them then, and then started working with her here in her backyard.
It's pretty hard to simulate the acceleration and the adrenaline rush of high-flying trapeze. If you've done this for 30 years, it's still scary. You still sometimes wig yourself out. And almost every time you come down, your hands are shaking like a leaf because you have so much adrenaline and cortisol flowing through your bloodstream.
I hope it never ends. I want to fly forever. And I'll probably lose some of my harder tricks, but as long as I can be up there flying, I'll be happy.